Okay, I want you all to take a second and close your eyes and imagine you're traveling in Australia on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and you're going to snorkel the Great Barrier Reef. You are traveling on your boat, you finally arrive, you jump in, you're expecting to see color, marine life, all different types of coral, and you see nothing. There's absolutely nothing there, no color, no coral, no marine life. This unfortunate truth could soon become the reality if we don't start all contributing to the environment. This topic should be important to all of you because coral reefs provide us all with crucial resources that impact all of our daily lives. I'm extremely credible to talk about this topic because not only have I been doing research for the last couple of weeks, but I also have been interested in marine life my entire life. Everyone should have to use reef-safe sunscreen because of how harmful non-certified reef-safe sunscreen can be to the environment and how important coral reefs are to all of our daily lives because of the resources they provide us with. Let's start by getting into our first point, which is how harmful non-reef safe sunscreen can be. Now you might think that not even that much sunscreen enters the environment. Well, this is a common misconception. You might think that when you rub it into your skin, it just disappears and it doesn't go anywhere. Well, this article published in 2023 from the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History titled Sunscreen in the Environment says that 14,000 tons of sunscreen enter waterways each year. It not only washes off when you're doing various water sports, such as all of these ones shown, but even after when you are bathing or showering, all of that sunscreen washes off into the drain, and those drains lead into waterways that eventually lead to major oceans with coral reefs. The main contributor is water sports, though. Areas where their water sports are high involvement equals higher levels of toxic sunscreen chemicals. This is bound to only increase in the future as new water sports are developed, causing more tourists to coastal areas as well as residents on beach coastal areas. I, for one, love water sports, which is why I think this is so important because I never realized how dramatic of an impact just me using unsafe sunscreen could be on the environment, and that's why I've chosen to invest in Reef Safe. Now, let's talk about the immense harm that these chemicals can cause. The chemicals in sunscreen that is not certified Reef Safe can negatively impact the zooxanthellae, which are microscopic algae in the coral that lives in the coral. This zooxanthellae removes waste as well as supplies coral with the products of photosynthesis such as sugar and proteins. With the zooxanthellae, the coral can grow and reproduce and also maintain its beautiful color. But without the zooxanthellae, if the sunscreen chemicals mess with the mechanisms of the algae, then it can cause bleaching of the coral, which will eventually lead to starvation and death. You might have indirectly contributed to this when you doused yourself in sunscreen and ran into the water. Now let's get into my second point, since I've talked about how harmful non-reef safe sunscreen can be, let's talk about how important the coral reefs are to our daily lives. The first point I want to talk about is how important they are to the economy. They supply the economy with infinite resources, and especially coastal economies earn billions of dollars a year just from coral reefs. This article, Coral Reefs Are Critical to Our Food Supply, Tourism, and Ocean Health. We Can Protect Them from Climate Change, written by Hanny Rivera et al. In 2020, says that coral reefs provide ecosystem services worth over $11 trillion annually. Most of our minds can't even fathom a number that big. Over 1 billion people depend on coral reefs for economic use. They not only create jobs in tourism, from snorkelers and travelers, but also fishing and the food industry. Coral reefs supply fish and all kinds of marine life with many different resources for them to grow and reproduce. This then supplies fishermen with an abundance of product for them to fish and then sell to the markets. These markets then ship this product all around the world so that they can not only be sold in grocery stores, but even served at 5-star Michelin star restaurants. The fishing economy also then builds seaports. There are $94 million that have been in seaports, that seaports build around every year. They also protect coastal areas from being too damaged from storms, such as huge waves, tsunamis, and everything like that. Without them, most of those coastal areas would have a lot more damage, and you have to pay a lot more money to fix the damage. So we need to protect coral reefs so that they can in turn protect us. They also provide a multitude of crucial health resources. They are said to be an untapped value of medicinal properties. Without coral reefs, we are vulnerable to diseases, new ones, and ones that we have already combated with medicines from coral reefs. An example of this is cytarabine, which is an anti-cancer which comes from a molecule on the sea sponge, which lives on coral reefs. In fact, over half of new cancer drug research is marine-focused. This same sponge that produced the cytarabine can also treat HIV, and without it, we would not have either of those cures. Without coral reefs, we would be limiting our resources, so we must maintain the coral to maintain our own lives. In conclusion, everyone should use reef-safe sunscreen. Specifically today, we talked about how harmful non-coral reef-safe sunscreen can be and how vital coral reefs are to our environment and our planet. Now, there might be a counter-argument to this, which would be that reef-safe sunscreen is hard to find and expensive in stores. But what I say to this is, isn't it worth a little bit of an extra time finding the sunscreen and paying a few extra dollars to then save all the money in the future that we would spend trying to fix the environment that we broke? Now, I hope that the next time you spray yourself with banana boat sunscreen and run into the ocean, you think twice. Or better yet, you proactively go into your Amazon cart and purchase reef-safe sunscreen right after this.